People are starting to get sick of the National Party blaming the Labour Party for things that are their fault and their responsibility.
Well, welcome back to Breakfast. Smack bang, it is 7:45. The Treaty Principles Bill has its first reading in Parliament later today. The Prime Minister, who won't be present, has made it clear he doesn't like it, and National won't be supporting it past today, meaning it's a dead bill walking. For more, let's bring in our political panel of Labour's Kieran McAnulty and National's Simeon Brown. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning, Nat.
Simeon, I'm going to start with you. Has this been a waste of time?
No, not at all. This is part of our coalition agreement with the ACT Party at the last election. We agreed to support this bill to its first reading. But look, we're very clear the National Party's position is different from the ACT Party's position. We campaigned not to support this bill during the election, but we had to negotiate a coalition agreement. What we have done, though, is we've first reading because we don't think that's the right approach to dealing with these very complex issues.
Kieran, come on in. This has got to be a waste of time, right?
Well, the question was it a waste of time? And he said, no, not at all, and then proceeded to explain that it's not going to go past first reading, which seems to me like a massive waste of time. And well, why the hell are we doing it? And the answer to that is because Christopher Luxon isn't as good as a negotiator as he made out, and he agreed to something that has actually turned out to be incredibly controversial. They're running away from it as far as they can, but the truth is they can't actually run away with it because it all boils down to the fact that the National Party agreed to this. The coalition agreement says that this bill will go to select committee. What it doesn't say is that it will go through a full select committee process, so they could have sorted that out. They could have also got the select committee to send it straight back to the House and got rid of it. But best of all, they could have just not agreed to this in the first place. And so I don't think that many New Zealanders believe the National Party when they say, don't you worry, we don't support this, we have to do this. Rubbish. They didn't have to agree to it, and now we've got to go through all this for no reason.
Simeon, Kieran makes some good points. I mean, that's how the viewers are looking at it.
We went through as I said earlier, we went through a coalition negotiation last year. As New Zealanders know, it was a challenging negotiation. We didn't get everything we wanted. David Seymour didn't get everything he wanted. But what the National Government and National Party did push for was a rebalancing of some of those issues the last government were pushing around co-governance. We have fixed those issues. This is a proposal put forward by the ACT Party. We agreed to put it to a select committee. It is not going any further beyond that, full stop.
Before the election, the King's Council have come in and are the latest to criticise the bill, Simeon.
Yeah, look,
should David Seymour be reconsidering his position?
No, look, there's lots of people out there with lots of views in New Zealand around these issues, and that's part. We're not supporting it into law. That'll require them to do so.
They think that's such a clever line, they keep saying it, but I mean, for God's sake, how pathetic can you get? At the end of the day, they agreed to this. They went into the election campaign promising New Zealanders that this wouldn't see the light of day, and then for the sake of forming a coalition agreement, they agreed to it. That is a broken promise right from the get-go, and now they're trying all these cute lines to try and justify it, but they can't justify it. This didn't need to be the case. They've broken a promise, and now they should front up. I think it's pretty disgraceful, frankly, that they have manufactured this to have its first reading on a day that the Prime Minister isn't there. I've got no criticisms of the Prime Minister not being there on a Thursday. They never are. But it's deliberately put there on a day that he isn't there. He's run away like a kid that's just been told off.
Oh, come on, that's ridiculous.
Is it really?
That is ridiculous.
So you've got the PM there.
He's heading
saying, no, don't worry, we're not going to support it. It's all good. We'll front up and tell people that. He has avoided questions throughout.
He has been answering questions
and you try that
every
little line,
day.
the only way it's going to survive is if the Labour Party does it. I mean, come on. I mean, how stupid do you think people are? This is Chris Luxon's fault. He should front up and face the music.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Ultimately, the Labour Party's been spending every single question time asking questions about this, rather than actually asking questions about the issues that Kiwis are focused on, which is the economy, reducing law.
You touched on that about what Kiwis are really into, because new stats have come out saying that Kiwis are leaving the country in numbers. Can you blame them, despite you telling us that the economy is getting stronger?
That trend started under the last government due to the fact that they left us with an economy in starting to see the fruits of that hard work, with interest rates starting to come down, with inflation back within the band.
And your government's being blamed.
We're fixing it.
Can I get you to respond? Because we're just running out of time.
We're not blaming them. It's the reality. It's what they left us.
Yeah, look, one thing I've noticed, Daniel, over the last few months is that people are starting to get sick of the National Party blaming the Labor Party for things that are their fault and their responsibility. You can't sack thousands of workers and blame Labor because they did that. You can't stall kāinga ora and community housing developments and fiddle around with the local government sector and see consents go through the floor with 12,000 construction workers losing their jobs and turn around and blaming us when it's actually their doing. This is their responsibility, and New Zealanders aren't thick, even if they think they are. They aren't going to accept an excuse to blaming the previous government when these figures are for the entire 12 months. Progressively through those 12 months, those figures have gone less. They look over to Australia, they say better wages because they have fair pay agreements, which this government scrapped, and they see jobs, and so they're going. And every family in this country will know someone that's gone to Australia, and they know exactly why. So Simeon sitting here and blaming somebody else when actually they want some answers isn't going to wash.
Well, that's
All
why
right,
we're so
gentlemen, I've got to
focused
leave
on,
it there.
we're
I've
focused
got to
on
leave it
restoring,
there.
getting the economy back on track. They missed it. We're fixing it.
I don't think
All
they
right,
believe you.
Kieran, Simeon, you can continue on when the